everybody. Happy Sunday. Welcome into Lexus Sports Extra. It is all sports talk for the next 30 minutes. I'm Josh Moser. We witnessed drama in Detroit between the Dolphins and Lions. More importantly, we saw Tua have his best game of his young career and got a true sense of what this Mike McDaniel-led offense can be. The Dolphins looking to group to 5-3 for just the third time in a decade. However, opening drive, the Lions march right down the field. Jamal Williams in from 7 yards out. It's 7-0 just 2 minutes in. Ensuing Dolphins drive, Braylon Sanders making his NFL debut, elevated off the practice squad. And the undrafted player out of Ole Miss fumbles. Lions recover. Head coach Mike McDaniel explaining how he handled the mistake with his young player.
It might have been one of his first snaps. Sometimes what you choose not to say can let him know that we're not wavering, that we have belief in him, which we do.
Down the field. Off the fumble, Lions looking to capitalize on the turnover. Jared Goff finding T.J. Hawkinson. Javon Holland can't make the play. The former first-round pick out of Iowa has Detroit in the red zone. That would set up this. Welcome back, DJ Swift. Goff finds him for the passing tutty. Detroit's out front 14-0 in the first quarter. However, the Dolphins respond. Tua airing it out for Tyreek Hill. What a catch. More from Cheetah later. Then it's Tua, calm in the pocket. He has his other big-time receiver, Jalen Waddle, in the corner of the end zone. Best celebration dance in the league. Back to a one-score game. The first quarter of track meet, start of the second. Goff has Khalif Raymond behind the entire Dolphins defense. That would lead to a touchdown to make it 21-7. The Dolphins, needing to respond again. Tua buying time in the pocket, steps up, firing deep down the field. It is Hill again. He had 100 yards in the first half alone. And if Tyreek Hill is option 1, Jalen Waddle is 1A. Great bottle from Tua. Waddle in for his second score of the night. It's 21-14. The Dolphins would add a field goal on the next drive. Detroit on to punt, but it's a fake. Huge first down under the 2-minute mark. Lions get a field goal and take a 27-17 lead into the half. Third quarter opening drive for the Dolphins. Alec Ingold on the trick play. First career touchdown for the fullback. Reward the guy that does all the blocking. Then more from Tua. 3rd and 6. Nobody open. What do? Tuck and run for the first down. But Tua wanting more from himself with Ingold blocking out in front.
As you can tell, I'm not a runner. But with that block, if anyone else was running behind Alec, that could have been a lot bigger. Knowing me, Alec blocks the guy and almost pancakes him, and I run right into the guy for the tackle. If it was any other person, probably would have been a lot bigger.
That play kept the drive alive. Fins now in the red zone. It is Tua to Mike Gesicki for his 3rd TD pass of the game. Dolphins take their first lead 31-27, and the tight end deciding to retire the gritty celebration for now.
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm gonna see what the reaction looks like, and maybe if the people want it back, then you got to give the people what they want, you know. Durham told me not to do it anymore, so
I told him to do another dance. She did another dance.
Fourth quarter, 8.5 to play. Big third down, but another flag is thrown. The Dolphins hurting themselves all game. More than double-digit flags thrown against Miami. That stalled the drive. 3 to play. Lions down 4, opting to go for it on 4th and 2. Goff takes a deep shot, looking for Josh Reynolds. However, Kader Kohu is there. What a play by the undrafted rookie. It saved the game. From there, all the Dolphins had to do was run out the clock, but play action to Hill for the first down. Then no run again. Tua finding Hill. This will seal it. Dolphins in comeback fashion, 31-27. Tua had his highest passer rating of his career. Hill had 188 receiving yards. The Cheetah leading the entire league and is on pace to smash numerous NFL receiving records after 8 games.
You know, everybody knows me as a workaholic. All I do is just think ball. I live, sleep, and I die on this hill of playing football, man. And the way that I approach every week is, I'm going to work my tail off regardless, so I'm not surprised at all, dog.
I think Mike did a great job calling plays today. He put us in really good position to get yards after catch on plays.
Winning in different ways, not being one dimension like a full-blown, this is an offensive team, this is a defensive team, this is a winning team. We find a way to win, we find a way to fight.
The play that Tua had today, that's a if we can get that every week, that's a winning formula. That is tough to stop.
Tua playing a phenomenal game. Third quarter, more from him. Finn, 2nd and 10 in the red zone. Tua the tuck and run, and then the best part, the slide. This is a point of emphasis for the young quarterback coming off a concussion. Tua being told it's about being available and his long-term health.
Oh, yeah, slid today. I know my coaches, my teammates, my teammates are definitely proud of me. Came to the sideline. Everyone was happy that I slid. I was kind of happy that I slid, too.
Extra points.
For more on the Dolphins win, we bring in our insider, Drew Rosenhaus. Drew, the offense so impressive today. Yep. Why should we expect this for the rest of the season?
Well, 3 things jump out at me. Obviously, Tua, the team's 5-0 in games that Tua was able to start and finish. Obviously, Tyreek is lighting it up at an unprecedented level. Could break every receiving record, basically. And then you got Mike McDaniel, who's done an amazing job of coaching Tua, getting the ball to Tyreek and Waddle. Really nice play calling, aggressive play calling. They got it rolling on offense. I mean, this was an impressive offensive performance today.
And they do it on the road. Tua, his highest passer rating in his career. But let's talk about your client, Tyreek Hill, because he's on pace to eclipse 2,000 yards. That would be an NFL record. Does he do it? I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, I think Tyreek is capable of so much. You know, when you watch him play, you often say, man, you just want him to get the football because he just delivers. I think he had 14 targets. He converted 12 of those. He's always open because teams respect his deep speed. I think he is going to do it. I think he'll have as good a second half. He's always been a durable player that's been able to stay healthy. I don't think defenses can really do anything to take him out of the offense because McDaniel is moving him around, is designing plays. They're getting him the football deep, short, in the middle. I mean, he's just creating a lot of opportunities for Tyreek.
As good as the offense was, the defense continues to struggle. Drew, the Dolphins bringing back all 11 starters from last year's team. Why do they continue to struggle?
Well, they've had a lot of injuries, and in particular, they've had a lot of injuries in the secondary. Remember, Howard's been battling injuries all season long. No Byron Jones. He's been out the entire year. They lost Nick Needham, who was a very valuable guy. They lost Brandon Jones, who was a dynamite starting safety for this team last week. So they're playing with, a group that doesn't have a lot of experience together. And other than Howard and Holland, they're working in a lot of subs. I think that has a lot to do with it. The other thing is the pass rush hasn't quite come together yet like it did last year. I still think they've got a lot of potential with Emmanuel Ogbah, Phillips, and Melvin Ingram, Van Ginkel as pass rushers. That's an area I expect to see some improvement.
Does this defense miss Brian Flores?
I mean, you have to say yes. Flores is one of the best defensive coaches in football. He's got an amazing reputation. That's how he earned a head coaching job, being a defensive guru. He's a tough guy to replace. And that's not a knock on the current defensive coordinator, Josh Boyer, but, Flores is sort of, a genius on defense to the extent that we're watching Mike McDaniel bring value to the offense.
We're going to talk about that offense-defense disparity coming up a little later in the show. Hang with us a couple more minutes, Drew.
Sure.
Time now for SoFlo Pros.
Sundays are always great in South Florida. So many players that prepped or played in college now getting paid in the league. Let's go SoFlo Pros Week 8 edition. We start in London. Broncos and Jaguars. Former American Heritage star Tyson Campbell says, give me that Russell Wilson. Great play on the pick. Same game, it is a direct snap to Jerry Jeudy. What a special player prepping at Deerfield Beach. Broncos win 21-17. To the ATL, Panthers, Falcons in overtime. Marcus Mariota looking deep. That is Columbus's C.J. Henderson back there for the interception. Look at the run back. What an individual effort. How did the Panthers give it away? Falcons win on a field goal in overtime, 37-34. To U.S. Bank in Minneapolis, Central's Dalvin Cook cooking against the Cardinals. That made it 28-17 in the third. Fast forward to the fourth, it's back to a 2-point game, but former King K.J. Osborne puts the Vikings back up 9. Minnie goes on to win 34-27. to 26. Let's keep it going. Bears Cowboys in Dallas. Watch Eddie Jackson jump the route, picking off Dak Prescott. Jackson starring at Boyd Anderson in Lauderdale Lakes, where he was also a receiver. Shows off the skill set here. Dallas winners 49-29. With the way he's playing, how can we not show you Miramar's Geno Smith, comeback player of the year candidate, has Tyler Lockett for the long touchdown pass. Seahawks win 27-13. That's this week's edition of SoFlo Pros. Let's talk Heat for a quick minute. Jimmy Butler and his teammates struggling at the jump. Reigning world champion Warriors are at FTX this Tuesday night. Miami coming off a terrible 3-game road trip out west, falling last night to a then winless Sacramento Kings team. It's just a 2-5 start. Miami looks nothing like the squad that was one win away from the NBA Finals less than 6 months ago.
Our disposition in transition defense and also protecting the paint just was not at the level necessary to win a game on the road, and that's been a handful of our games where we've started slow defensively and then we pick up as we get going, and that's proven to be very costly. That has to change. We don't want to wait anymore, particularly when we know the answers to the test. It's just a full commitment to do this connected and together.
For more on the Heat, we bring in our insider, Ethan Skolnick. Ethan, it's been an awful start for the Heat at 2-5. Is it time to panic?
I think it's time to be seriously concerned. I don't know about panic at this point, but this team has not come with the right kind of energy this season. And I think here's one of the problems. We can talk about P.J. Tucker not being there, integrating Tyler Hero to the starting lineup. This team is not talented enough to kind of go halfway. They're just not. And I don't know if they got caught up in themselves because they got close to the finals last year, but we're not seeing the same consistent effort. We're not seeing them be as connected. And I don't really want to hear the excuses. Look, I know they were close to some trades this offseason, or maybe they thought there were going to be some trades, but they just haven't brought it. And that's the thing. And that's why they keep falling behind early in games. You look at what happened against Sacramento. That's just totally inexcusable against a team like that. I don't care if it's the last game of the road trip. So I do think it's time to be seriously concerned. And I know that the front office is starting to get concerned.
Kings hadn't won a game this season before that. But if you were the coach or general manager, what changes would you make?
Well, this is the problem, right? Okay, because everybody wants a quick fix here. And so you say, okay, well, you need a starting power forward perhaps. Caleb Martin hasn't really been the problem, though, okay? So, do you really want to gut the team with future draft picks to go get a starting 4 when you don't really know the direction that the team is going? Then you can look at the starting lineup. You can say, okay, is the Lowry Hero thing working? But here's the problem with that. Tyler Hero has been better than Kyle Lowry has been.
Let's talk a little bit more about Kyle Lowry. 36 years old. We know he's a veteran. They brought him in for his leadership. But how washed up is he?
Washed up is a strong word, but he's not the player that I think they thought they were going to get. I think that's where we're at this stage. And when you're talking about a player making this kind of money and you can't get by anybody at this stage, okay, then you have issues, because then it means that both of their guards need screens all the time. And here's the other thing with Kyle. They brought him in part to be a point of attack defender. He doesn't even guard the point guard on the other team anymore. Caleb Martin does.
Let's mention Victor Oladipo and Omer Yurtseven, just because we haven't seen them.
Yeah.
We were hoping that there would be a significant role off the bench for both, but how much of them being out has hurt this team?
Let's start with Vic. They were counting on Vic. I don't care what they may say now, because everybody I talked to with the Heat this summer was talking about how good Vic looks. So this is a major setback. Now, I don't know how major a setback it is in terms of the actual injury, because they're not giving out a lot of information. But the fact that he didn't make the trip, we still don't know if he's going to play this week. It's not great. They need more scoring beyond just Max Strus off the bench. Look, I think Yurt would be playing already, okay, because Dwayne Dedmon was not effective early in the season. I actually think Yurt might have played ahead of Dedmon, even without Dedmon kind of having this injury. So I do think that they miss him a little bit. I don't think he's the only answer, but they need another big. They are too small. They're just too small.
Let's go back to Tyler Hero for a minute, because moving him from the sixth man into the starting lineup, you miss that spark of the offense. What other problems or just the adjustments has that move made for this team?
Well, look, Tyler can be a really good catch and shoot player, okay? And so I thought that it would work to a certain degree. It just doesn't look like he and Lowry fit very well together. That's a problem right now. Also, what it's created is they're playing Strus and Robinson together off the bench. I don't know how long you can really go with that. Tyler's going to be a starter. They're not yanking him from the starting lineup. He just needs to be more consistent on the defensive end.
Ethan, a couple huge games this week, starting with the reigning world champion Warriors. What do you expect to see from the Heat in the next few days?
Well, what I expect to see and what I want to see are two different things. I just want to see them fight. That's all. I just want to see them fight. I want to see them compete from the very beginning of the game, particularly against a team like Golden State. They cannot drop these two because obviously if they drop both of these two, I mean, then you're looking at what are we now, 2-7?
Yep.
I mean, that is really problematic here. And look, the schedule doesn't really soften up for a little bit. I just want to see them be cohesive and be competitive. Can they be those two things? Let's start there.
Buckle up, Heat fans. Ethan, thank you so much.
Thank you, Josh.
It is time now for First Time Out on Lexus Sports Extra. When we return, Drew Rosenhaus rejoins the show. We discuss what's more important for the Dolphins, for the offense to keep rolling or the defense playing better. Plus, the Panthers are getting some great play from a surprise player. We explain why he's a big reason for the Cats' strong start.
First it was just like these distant roars in the
Welcome back to Lexus Sports Extra. Week 8 in the NFL, providing great moments roughly at the halfway point of the season. Let's go around the league. We start in Philadelphia. Eagles looking to stay perfect, hosting the Steelers. Jalen Hurts having a special season to get the Eagles to 6-0. First quarter, Steelers on the trickeration. Chase Claypool running, no throwing for the touchdown. The wide receiver to the fullback, Derek, don't call me TJ Watt. It's a 7-7 game. Second quarter, Hurts going to work. What a throw to A.J. Brown, one of 3 touchdowns between the pair. Fly, Eagles, fly, 35-13, the final. We had a wild one in Atlanta. Falcons-Panthers, 23 seconds to play. Carolina down 6. P.J. Walker rolls out and airs it out. That is DJ Moore on the game-tying grab. But Eddie Pinheiro misses the point after, so we head to overtime. Then he gets a chance to redeem himself in OT from 33 yards, pulls it left. The Panthers give the game away. The Falcons able to convert and are now in first place in the NFC South with a 37-34 overtime victory. For more on the NFL, we bring back our insider, Drew Rosenhaus. Drew, the Dolphins are 5-3. What's more important, the offense to continue to play like it did or the defense figuring this thing out?
It's always a balance in the NFL, but obviously this team is built around Tyreek, so they're going to outscore teams. If Tua continues to play like this and they can get the football in Tyreek's hands and Jalen Waddle, the offensive line is very critical. They may have lost a player today in Liam Eichenberg, the starting left guard. Let's hope it's not as bad as it looks where he was carted off the field. But I think this offense is really a juggernaut, and the defense has got a lot of potential. They've got a lot of good football players. This team is very dangerous down the stretch. Hopefully my 10-win prediction is back on track.
There we go. Could be 7-3 by the bye week, but how do you beat teams? You score more points than the opponent. Let's talk about this trade deadline. It's coming up Tuesday at 4 p.m. Drew, why are there so many moves this year?
I think it's because there's not a lot of job security in the NFL. If you're a general manager, you want to win now, you're going to make trades to get players that can help your football team right now, and you're willing to give up draft picks.
What do you expect the Dolphins to do before the deadline?
I have a feeling they are going to make a deal or two. Chris Greer's very aggressive. Not sure what, a lot of people think they could help the secondary, but I think the Dolphins are sleepers at 5-3, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're aggressive before the deadline.
Hopefully they can load up and make a run. Let's talk college very quickly. Saturday night, it's Canes and FSU under the lights at Hard Rock. Drew, you're a Miami alum. What's your favorite moment in this rivalry?
Gosh, there's so many, and there's been so many great players, but it would have to be the missed kicks by the Seminoles, and they were such epic battles. It was sad to see it come down. Of course, there's no doubt. I mean, the team that won that game for a few years went on to be national champions. That is something I'll never forget growing up.
There you go. Drew Rosenhaus, everybody. It's his birthday weekend, spending time with us here. We appreciate the time.
Thanks. Appreciate it, Josh. Thank you.
Let's go to the ice. The Panthers trying to come together under new head coach Paul Maurice. Remember, the Cats are down star defenseman Aaron Ekblad, but Brandon Montour has been fabulous in his place. It was this go-ahead goal with 3.5 to play Saturday night against the Senators, and Maurice very impressed with Montour's play.
Well, he played against their best right on a hard match tonight, and he's exceptionally fit, man. He has incredible fitness numbers, so he's one of those guys that comes to the bench late, even if they're hemmed in, and he shows no distress. It's so important for us when Aaron does come back into our lineup. Now we have another defenseman that's at his peak of his game.
Panthers on the road for the next 4, starting Tuesday in Arizona. We've got to take a quick break. When Lexus Sports Extra returns, head coach Mike McDaniel addresses penalties. Dolphins, one of the most flagged teams in the league this year. Stay with us. We're back in 120 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. Only the Broncos have more penalty flags thrown against them this season than the Dolphins. This is an area where Miami has to be better. It was double-digit flags thrown again today in Detroit. The Dolphins use pre-snap motion more than any other team, but the flags are drive killers. We're seeing it on both sides of the ball.
Well, there's certain controllables, and the ones that really irritate me, we knew coming into the game that we have to be mindful of our pre-snap alignment.
We can be light years better, you know, and that starts with me, you know, preaching to the guys that we got to get in and out of the huddle faster. You know, we got to do the small things right.
The final round of today's Live Golf Championship at Doral saw Dustin Johnson's team beat Cam Smith's squad in a 4-player lowest stroke match, the victory giving Johnson and his teammates $16 million for just 2 days' work. PGA Tour final round of the Bermuda Championship at Port Royal. Beautiful setting to 14. This is Irishman Seamus Power getting to 21 under. He would go on to win by 1 stroke over Thomas Detry. NASCAR playoffs continuing Xfinity 500 at Martinsville Motor Speedway. It is Christopher Bell taking checkers, facing elimination. You may need to call him Christopher Clutch. Bell joining Ross Chastain, Chase Elliott, and Joey Logano for the Cup next week in Phoenix. It is almost midnight, everybody, but we're not done yet. The big finish is next. Stay with us while we pay some bills. Big finish. It is Halloween Eve. That is Heat head coach Eric Spoelstra in the Master Splinter costume, rocking the Ninja Turtles family theme with his wife Nikki and their 3 children. Panthers defenseman Brandon Montour going the Waterboy. Great couples costume right there. Fun fact, The Waterboy is the highest grossing sports movie of all time, The Medulla Oblongata. Seen that movie so many times. Happy Halloween, everybody. We've made it to midnight, so it is time to say goodbye. On behalf of Drew and Ethan, I'm Josh Moser. Thank you so much for watching Lexus Sports Extra. Have a great start to your week. Good night, everybody. Happy Halloween. Thanks for watching.